God is taking every piece of your story, the broken places, the dark places, the quiet places, the painful places, and turning them into testimonies. Testimonies that will touch people in ways your victories never could. Testimonies that will lift others out of the same storms you walked through. Testimonies that will show the world just how powerful God's hand has been on your life. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. Nothing was accidental. God is the master builder, and He used every moment to construct a deeper, stronger, wiser version of you, a version that is ready for what's coming. The next season of your life will not look like the last one. The heaviness is lifting. The confusion is clearing. The battles are turning. The doors are shifting. And God is about to surprise you with grace that doesn't match your past but matches your purpose. You're stepping into divine timing, divine favor, divine alignment. You are walking into the plans God designed before you were even born. Plans to prosper you, strengthen you, and position you for impact. What's coming is not small. It's not ordinary. It's not average. God doesn't prepare you this intensely for something simple. He prepares you for something supernatural. Something bigger than your fear, bigger than your past, bigger than your expectations. So hold your head high, not in pride, but in trust. Trust that God knows exactly what He's doing. Trust that everything you lost is making room for what's better. Trust that the battles shaped you for blessing. Trust that God is ahead of you, clearing paths, opening ways, softening hearts, aligning destiny. And when He tells you to move, move boldly. When He tells you to step, step confidently. When He opens the door, walk through it with courage. This is your time. This is your season. This is your moment to see the goodness of God in ways you've prayed for, dreamed of, and waited on for years. Your faith is about to be rewarded. Your endurance is about to. And now you're stepping into a season where God is not only protecting you, He's positioning you. Positioning you to walk into rooms you never thought you'd enter. Positioning you to meet people who are connected to your purpose. Positioning you to receive opportunities that felt impossible before. Positioning you to rise in ways that don't make sense to the natural eye. God doesn't need permission to elevate you. When He decides it's your time, no one can block the door He opens. No voice can silence the calling He placed on your life. No enemy can stop the blessing He has already written into your story. You have to remember, the waiting wasn't punishment. It was preparation. You weren't being delayed, you were being developed. God was shaping your heart so you could carry responsibility with humility. He was strengthening your spirit so success wouldn't make you forget who lifted you. He was teaching you wisdom so you could discern what is from Him and what is sent to distract you. The waiting season wasn't about keeping something from you, it was about getting you ready for something bigger than you imagined. God doesn't rush preparation. He invests in it. And He invested deeply in you. That's why it felt so hard. That's why it took so long. That's why you felt pressed from every side. Pressure produces power. The stretching produced strength. The breaking produced breakthrough. The silence produced sensitivity to His voice. Every part of the journey was necessary, even the parts you didn't understand. You may think you lost time, but God is the God who restores it. What you thought was wasted will come back multiplied. What you thought was gone forever will reappear in a better form. What you thought was a closed chapter will be rewritten with purpose. God doesn't just fix things, He transforms them. He doesn't just heal, He makes all things new. He doesn't just restore, He elevates. You're stepping into a moment where God is about to breathe on your life. Life will always bring seasons that stretch you beyond what you thought you could handle. Moments that make you question your strength, your purpose, and sometimes even God's plan. But the truth is, God often trusts you with pressure because He knows what He placed inside you. He knows your capacity even when you doubt it. He knows your endurance even when you feel exhausted. And He knows your destiny even when your life doesn't look like it right now. Every challenge you faced has been preparing you for a greater assignment, one you couldn't step into without the lessons the pain taught you. The very things you thought would break you have actually built the foundation God needed for what is coming next. You may not understand the process, but God understands the purpose behind every detail. He's the God who sees the full picture while you can only see the moment you're in. And the moment you're in is not the end, it's part of a divine sequence God has carefully aligned for your future. There were nights you cried that nobody knew about, yet heaven heard every tear. There were days you pushed yourself through exhaustion, yet God strengthened you in ways you didn't even recognize. There were times you felt surrounded by problems, but what you didn't see was how God surrounded you with protection. Some battles never reached you because God blocked them before they formed. Some storms never touched you because God stood between you and the danger. Some plans the enemy built against you fell apart because God dismantled them in silence. You didn't see it, but he was fighting for you long before you realized you needed help. You've survived attacks that should have taken you out. You've recovered from pain that should have destroyed your faith. You've walked through seasons that others never make it through, because God has been your shield, your strength, your covering, and your defender. You might not understand why it had to happen this way, but trust this, nothing is wasted in God's hands. Every setback taught you something. Every heartbreak grew you. Every disappointment pushed you closer to Him. You are stronger because of what you survived. You are wiser because of what you walked through. You are more prepared because of what you endured. And God is not finished. He is still writing your story, and the part you're stepping into is going to bring clarity to everything that confused you before. The enemy wants you to believe you're stuck, but you're not stuck, you're planted. And when God plants you, He plants you with intention. Roots grow in the dark. Strength grows in the unseen places. Endurance grows in the quiet seasons. You're being established for a future that requires deeper foundations. God isn't just giving you a blessing, He's building you for one. That's why certain people couldn't stay. That's why certain opportunities had to fade. That's why certain doors remained closed. God heard conversations you didn't. He saw traps you couldn't. He protected you from things that looked good but weren't good for you. He removed people who would have slowed you down. He closed doors that would have derailed your purpose. What looked like loss was actually love. What felt like rejection was actually protection. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. God's timing is not slow, it's strategic. He knows when you're ready. He knows when the moment is right. He knows when the path is clear. What God has prepared for you is worth every second of the wait. And when it arrives, it will be clearer, bigger, and more beautiful than anything you imagined. So keep believing even when you're tired. Keep praying even when it feels quiet. Keep trusting even when it doesn't make sense. You're closer than you think. Breakthroughs often come right after the moment you almost gave up. God is with you now, in this moment, in this season. There are moments in life when you wonder if God still sees you, still hears you, still remembers the promises He made to you. And in those moments, the enemy tries to convince you that nothing is changing, that your prayers are pointless, that your waiting is a waste of time. But hear this, God has not forgotten you. Every silent night, every hidden tear, every private battle has been seen by the one who never sleeps. He's been guiding you even when you didn't feel Him, protecting you even when you didn't notice, preparing you even when you thought nothing was happening. What looks like delay is actually God building you, strengthening you, positioning you for what's coming next. You're not behind. You're not overlooked. You're not abandoned. God is writing a story in your life that will make sense when the right chapter unfolds, and when it does, you will realize He was working all along. So don't stop believing. Don't stop praying. Don't stop trusting. God is closer to your miracle than you think. Life has a way of testing you in the places you least expect. One moment you feel strong, steady, and confident, and the next moment everything around you shakes. Plans fall apart, people change, opportunities disappear, and suddenly you're left wondering whether God is still guiding your steps. But here's the truth your heart needs to hear: God has never taken His eyes off you. Not even for a second. Even when you felt lost, He knew exactly where you were. Even when you felt alone, His presence surrounded you. Even when your faith felt weak, His grace held you together. What you call confusion, God calls construction. He is building something in you that requires patience, pressure, and perseverance. You might not see the full picture right now, but God sees the end from the beginning. He sees who you will become, not just what you're walking through. Some seasons feel heavy not because God is ignoring you, but because He's preparing you. Preparation never feels comfort.